It's going to be the magic changing of... Hello, how are you all doing? All right? Brilliant. Let's have a look and see. What should we start with? I shall start with this one. This is out of an anthology, which it's called the A470 Poems from For the Road. And I've got a poem in there about the wonderful goats that managed to invade the motorway. And it's called Roadhog. And it doesn't go anything like this in the poetry collection at all. I'm a road runner, honey. Beep, beep. They're baby boomers, no contraception, pre-max shoppers, unwanted guests, hotel pests. Now they hit the road. Even Keris Matthews didn't see this coming. They've given us road rage, all right, driven us down around endless bends. You don't get this on the M1. Have kids, we'll travel. Ultimate herd immunity. Pandemic unravel, dig incredulity. The bloody things are feral now. Will they ever go home? No, they bleat. We have moved on, and I'm a roadrunner once, roadrunner twice. I'm in love with rock and roll, and I'll stay out all night. Thank you. I can take my reading glasses off for a minute and actually see what you look like again now, which is always useful. I can see there's people there now. I couldn't just then. So the first one I'm going to do after that is one about the joys of public transport. This will be me on my way home tomorrow. A single ticket to Newport, that's all I bloody need. A single ticket to Newport, with small change I plead. A single ticket to Newport, I got kids to feed. A single ticket to Newport, get flirty and I'll breed. A single ticket to Newport, hair that does recede. A single ticket to Newport, aggression fueled by speed. A single ticket to Newport, cut me and I'll bleed. A single ticket to Newport, anxiety is freed. A single ticket to Newport, I'll follow any lead. A single ticket to Newport, challenge me, I'll cede. A single ticket to Newport, come on, fucking driver. A single ticket to Newport, what? No change from a fiver. A single ticket to Newport, feel breath mixed with saliva. A single ticket to Newport, I ain't no duck and diver. A single ticket to Newport, look mate, I'm a survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, Madame, Messieurs, and enfants, we face the ultimate existential question. You know what's coming, don't you? Did you fucking pint? Things are all right when you're in the fight. No time to think, can't even blink. Punches to throw, dodge the next blow, stick in the boot, chairs to uproot, tables to follow. No time to wallow in self-pity because life is shitty. Throw some more punches, fighting by hunches. It's like painting by numbers, except for the numbers. There's blood on your clothes. Where from? Fuck knows. The blood's not from you. It's the other man's due. As it seeps through his skin, ain't you glad it's from him? There's no point in holding back. Just continue to attack till the man spattered in red has finally fled. It's the angry man's food and the thinking man's brood. Well, it's food for thought, the lesson you're taught, that in the end, nothing really has changed. Just a few faces have been rearranged. Right, there's a couple of poems I'm going to do around the sort of pandemic. The first one is one that people may not have heard before, with apologies to the Beatles on this, because it's going to be a song poem. And it's about, we were all really thorough in terms of, masking up and what have you during the pandemic. But did you spot the character that I spotted? There was a small group of people who would go out and dutifully buy a packet of disposable masks and then wear the same fucking mask for the whole 2 years of the pandemic. And you could see it getting dirtier and dirtier as it went along. So it's this one is called Disposer Mask. And it goes something like this. He's a real disposer mask, sticking to his one-use task, but his dirt encrusted mask is fooling nobody. Air guitar, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Hasn't got a bloody clue. Face masks now a COVID zoo. He is not a bit like you and I. Dispose a mask, man, please listen. There's an elastic earpiece missing. Dispose a mask, man. Opprobrium is what you command. Above the mask, a protruding snout. Would you shop with your dick hanging out? He is not a bit like you and I. Now there is a greenish hue. Face mask now a COVID stew. He is not a bit like you or I. Dispose a mask, man, please listen. We don't like masks that glisten. Dispose a mask, man. Just use good sense. Don't be so dense. Buy a reusable, mate. He's a real disposer mask, sticking to his one-use task. But his dirt-encrusted mask is fooling nobody. Air guitar soon. And with a mask like that, you know you're really sad. Bim, 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 bomb. Oops, sorry, wrong fret. With a mask like that, you know you're really sad. The next one is, I'm trying to, I nearly had 8 eyes then instead of 4, didn't I? The next one is based on an old poem by Gwendolyn Brooks called We Real Cool. And if you've never read it, you should dig it out. It's a brilliant poem. This one is just called Social Dissonance. We don't read books. We give scornful looks. We shop while we text. We don't give bugs respect. We give kids snarky answers. We parents are chances. We won't keep social distance. We ignore the cue's resistance. We wheeze and we cough. We also scoff. It's just like flu. We're dead now, we too. Thank you. Right. The next one is going to be yet another poem song. I apologize for the crap singing. This one, I don't know whether you're into... there's not a lot of people. You wouldn't want to join in doing stuff. This one is dedicated to our outgoing Prime Minister. It's called Clusterfuck. There goes something like this. And if you're not familiar with the tune, it's to the tune of Do the Huckleback. When you've just become PM and you ain't got a clue, my friend, well, this is what you do. You do the clusterfuck, you do the clusterfuck, you pin the blame on anyone, continue to fuck up. Economy is tanked, you talk a load of wank, you rearrange the cabinet and do a clusterfuck. Even when your friends like Laura won't shut up, that's how you distract when you do a clusterfuck. When we move to tier 5 and no one here gets out alive, Doors quote, but you want your state to survive. You do the clusterfuck, you do the clusterfuck, you pin the blame on anyone, continue to fuck up. Economy is tanked, you talk a load of wank, you rearrange the cabinet and do a clusterfuck. Even when your friends like Laura won't shut up, that's how you distract when you do a clusterfuck. When we move to Partygate and your touchy-feely mate, now your bullshit holds your fate. Now you're the clusterfuck, now you're the clusterfuck. Can't pin the blame on anyone because you are the fuck up. Economy is tanked, you talk a load of wank. Can't rearrange the cabinet because they've all fucked off. Even when your friends like Laura won't shut up, you can't explain anything because you are the clusterfuck. Right, the next one is kind of a good time to do a mini plug of my book. I don't know if you've seen the cover, but it has a nice sort of lino print of the poll tax riot on there. There's a protester about to wallop a copper over with a with a scaffolding pole, basically. And I don't know if you knew this, but it's actually in their employment contract that they should regularly be beaten over the head with a scaffolding pole. And I just think they're underachieving in that, and they should be, something should be done about it. One of the things that happened when Johnson got elected, and I was sort of lying on the sofa moaning, was the news announcers went, "This is the biggest Tory election victory since Margaret Thatcher in 1987. I thought, what? 1987? She was gone 3 years later after we rioted over the poll tax. So if I want, just to sort of give you a reminder of that year, because it was quite a magical couple of years. We got rid of Thatcher, apartheid collapsed in South Africa, and all those Eastern Europe dictatorships collapsed as well. So it's in that sort of context that, again, I'm going to wreck somebody else's song. It's based loosely on I Fought the Law, which was made famous by the Clash. This is We Fought the Law Back. The poll tax riot was a lot of fun because we fought the law back and we won. I said the poll tax riot was a lot of fun because we fought the law back and we won. We fought the law back and we won. A big fat pig came on the news at 10 and said, I think we lost it a bit. I taped it on a video so I could see again. Thatcher's boot boys turned to shit. The cops all wanted a riot and they got one because we fought the law back and we won. The cops all wanted a riot and they got one because we fought the law back and we won. We fought the law back and we won. Someone shouted, burn South Africa House, apartheid's bunkers already on fire. Pissed off kids drove the piece back out and the fight flames grew higher and higher. The poll tax riot was a lot of fun because we fought the law back and we won, and we fought the law back and we won, and there was no future, no future, no future for Thatcher. It's always worth remembering they are a lot weaker than they think they are. The next one goes out to anyone who's had their benefits cut. It's called missing payment. And it goes something like this. There is no money, no amount has gone into my bank account, so I dial the number, get in the queue for about an hour or two, and you just say, bear with me. Bear with me, bear with me. There's a fucking bear with me. There's an elephant in the room. By a big black dog, I'm being consumed. No matter breathing in a paper bag can stop a full-on panic attack. And you just say, bear with me. I get wound up. You start to flounder. Do you believe all the myths about benefit scroungers? Look, if you don't restore your payments, I will end up on the pavement. And you just say, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. There's a fucking bear with me. There's an elephant in the room. By a big black dog, I'm being consumed. No amount of breathing in a paper bag can stop a full-on panic attack. And you just say, bear with me. I bet you got a landlord too, expect to be paid on time by you. We're all being shafted, tell the truth. All we need is a bloody roof. So don't just say, bear with me. Again, on the cost of living crisis sort of thing, this is a poem called Stresher. I almost did the washing up before we got too pissed on Friday the 13th when it hit home. The enormity of the situation, we are drowning in an inability to keep up with our debts. There's no longer any opportunity. As one door closes, another one slams in your face. We will never be the same again because of all the stress and pressure. Stresher, a new word for the 21st century. Of course, I blame it all on Friday the 13th. That and the single bloody magpie. Friday the 13th says it's not her fault. She never wanted to be Friday the 13th. She was always happy-go-lucky when she was a child. She always wanted to be Christmas or New Year's Eve. Instead, she got Friday the 13th. I wonder what the magpie's excuse is. We're going to move it on to something slightly different now. And I'm also going to have a look at the... Doing okay. That's fine. A couple of these are going to be sort of BLM or sort of oriented for the next few poems. This one is called They Call Me, and it goes something like this. They call me Atticus because I live in an attic. They call me Platypus because I duck my bills. They call me often until they've had their fill. They call me sick note because I'm often ill. They call me a cab but never pay the meter. They call me Mr. Loverman but hope I never meet her. They call me an alien, though I'm not from outer space. They call me Johnny Foreigner, although I'm from this place. They call me Wildcat when I go on strike. They sound like Norman Tebbit when they say, on your bike. They call me Ivan when I have an awful cough. They call me a dosser when I'm sleeping rough. But all the things they call me won't catch me when I fall. I'd prefer they wouldn't call me anything at all. And this poem was, again, sort of written as a reaction to the horrific stuff that happened in terms of police killing black people in America. I know it happens here as well, but it always seems to resonate a lot more in the world sort of media when it happens in America for some reason or other. And it goes like this. Daddy's been shot sitting in a car by one of America's finest. He's a rising star. Get out the car, walk backwards. That's what the cops will shout. Daddy doesn't process this in time to get out. The cop busts a nut in a sexual high. It's the same emotion that sends a man to die. Daddy sits there bleeding, dying in a car. Next to him, a child now has a mental scar. The child starts wailing, teardrops on black skin, as he realizes his world is caving in. When you shoot the father, you kill a child too. When he becomes an adult, he might shoot you. I want to follow that up with a bit of family history. You might wonder why I keep going on about some of the BLM stuff. My grandfather was the crew of a tribe in Liberia. My grandfather sailed here and settled, was a merchant seaman and survived the race riots of 1919. So just want to give a little bit of family history there. So bear with me a second. And when you come from sort of diverse backgrounds like mine, we pick our heroes where we can. And one of mine was Muhammad Ali. And I think it was when he died, it sort of, burst open a floodgate of reflection for me. So this one's just called On the Death of Muhammad Ali. Goodbye, butterfly. You stung like a bee. You stung me. From you, I learned resistance to all the nigger, pull the trigger playground taunts. I could reply, come on, Bugner. The kids at school never listened to Blue Mink. They didn't know that what we needed was a great big melting pot. My parents did. They had me. The Ugandan Asian crisis hit, and I became called a Paki overnight because Enoch was right, and I should go back to where I came from, even though I was there already. And to some Asian kids, I was just another Gori. And the white girls didn't want to stay too long because they didn't want to be called dog meat by their peers. So shove thy neighbor. So tell me, what the hell is the color of love? And the Rastas wore Wales football tops. Well, they were red, gold, and green. To them, I was a threat also. Babylon. I could not go back to Africa, a place I'd never been. And my heroes all spoke perfect English. Sidney Poitier, C.L.R. James. The old ladies in Cardiff docks told me about Africans. When they came, how tall they were, how smart they were in top hats, spats, and canes. And my granddad was a crewman, and then he joined a crew. He sailed and settled in the Bay of Tigers, raised a family, and my father was a half-caste. That's what they said back then. And he would sing calypso. Why don't you give me back the shilling with the lion pon it, lion pon it, lion pon it? As he did the washing up, but then said Jamaicans were Johnny-come-latelys. As I got older, boundaries blurred, bigotry rescinded like the tide. I became exotic, Amerindian, Latin American, because of long, straight black hair, now long gone, and melanin darkened skin. Myth-making identity yet again. And I don't know where I come from, but you don't know where I'm going. But I do worry that the tide is coming in again. And sometimes I really do feel like throwing my hands up in the air. So goodbye, butterfly. You have spread your wings, and I have been stung by the world. I'm going to change things up completely now. This is a poem about unrequited love, or unfrequented love. And it reminds me of a badge I used to have when I was a little kid. And it used to say, sex appeal. Please give generously. It goes something like this. Sometimes I look at you and think, just dreaming really. Then I listen and start to sink when you pour out your troubles. I want to drink your heart. But that's kept locked away with the silverware and crockery, special things for special occasions and special people, not me. I'm the invisible man in your estimation, but I'm here and I'm real and I'm care. When things go right, you run straight past me to greet a lover. But when things go wrong and there is no other, you can find me tired and alone, the remote console. Just going to find the next one. Which, I can't find that one, I'll do another one. Shouldn't be too far away. Bear with me a second. Done that one. Oh, I see it. We're sort of going back to look at something that, the problem of homelessness and how quickly it can happen. And sometimes it gets sorted out a bit quicker than you think. But homelessness is people who have to sofa surf as well as the people who are, the homelessness crisis on the streets is bad enough. You think about the number of people that have to sofa surf, and it's the things that you lose, moving from one house to another night, another sofa. Man in the DWP tells me not to say I'm homeless. Get a care of address, he says. Then you'll only have to sign on once a fortnight. Care of address gets sick of me being around funny things, parents. So it's sofa surfing. Sometimes sleeping on someone's floor. I have a sleeping bag and a rucksack. But it's the things that you lose. My TRB CD. Now there's no more power in the darkness. And court papers. I wonder if I'll ever live with my wife and kids again, or is it over? Hunger kicks in, and the God Squad provide breakfast. Jesus doesn't want me for a sunbeam, but his disciples make a mean black coffee. There's free internet at the library. It keeps you out of the cold. I'm my own agent again. I go to see a film, catch up with some old friends, read books and listen to music, get put on the guest list at gigs. Take my kid to football, stay over at weekends. Then my wife decides she wants me to come back. And we live crappily ever after. This is another one, just going completely off topic there. It's called More Than Just a Northern Soul. Now, it might be influenced by a particular type of music, or it might not. I'll leave you to be the judge of that. Once upon a floor, I used to dance all night until saturated, soaking wet, swimming in a sea of dance where everything else lost significance. I loved being me, but then I had to learn to live in someone else's shadow until it became mine. In darkness, shadows escape, diminished again towards the end. Flip the switch, please, one more twitch. Turn on your love light, let it shine on me. Turn on your love light, let it shine on me. Now, this is a poem I was telling somebody who's in the audience about earlier on. Let me see if I can find it fairly quickly. It should be around here somewhere. There it is. How's that? It's a sort of recovery poem from a couple of things that I've had issues with was things like PTSD, anxiety and depression and things like that. And there was a point where I was off and I had really good employers and I used to have regular meetings with them. And there was this one day where I knew I was recovering because on the way back from my meeting to see how I was doing, I had this idea for about 3 poems pop into my head and I had to run home and write them before I forgot them. And this was one of them. It's just like my recovery poem. It's called Pause for Thought. When people ask me what's wrong, I can bat them away with the phrase black dog stuff. Then I don't have to explain nausea, morning sickness of the mind, or my perfectionist heart shredding thoughts, actions, utterances, a form of deliberate self-harm. Eventually, my Freudian slip mind bites back. You're no longer all scary. All powerful, and I am no longer in your grasp. You are now a child's toy. You are just a stuffed black dog. I can put you back in the box. All right. What I'm going to do now is there's a couple of poems that I don't usually read or perform or anything, but they were ones that reviewers picked on when they were reviewing my book. So I think they should have a mini airing because other people think they're okay. This film was picked up by a reviewer in Poetry Wales for some reason or other. It's called Waiting Room. 4 walls, harsh lights, blue carpet, flip chart, bottled water, boiled sweets, black coffee, biscuits awaiting others, deliberations, no sense of time, muffled voices, closed doors, deja vu. Have they forgotten me? Case law, documents, evidence, me in a suit. The accused, Franz Kafka's The Trial, tribulations, mitigations, impossible situations, insight, outside, remote, remorse, recourse, witness statement, cross-examine, perjury, contaminated, implicated, abrogated, innocent, inside. Who lied? Smoking gun. Don't shred that, Steve, whatever you do. Thank you, man.
Oh, it should do.
Yeah, let's have a look. Ah, that one. Okay. And this one is called Nicotine. Sit looking stunned, nothing else left. The taste on your tongue, the smell on your breath, stains on your fingers, holes in your toes. Stale smells that linger, stud in your nose. It goes with the leather and the faded ripped jeans, but it's difficult to tell whether you've come apart at the seams. Cancer's your star sign as well as your fate. A haze in the sunshine, that's how you relate to the glow in an ashtray, which lights up your face where dead matches at last lay and a drag sets the pace, like a clock that is ticking away at life's measure. And the ash that you're flicking is like discarded treasure from a burnt out old ruin that once was a home. And you sit there smoking cigarettes on your own. Those have been a little low, so we'll lift the mood slightly after that one. This one, I won't tell you the title because it'll ruin the punchline. So it goes something like this. Where do all the dissident voices go once music is dominated by the windows of TV shows and voting just means pressing the red button, when politics becomes a career opportunity populated by Oxbridge accents and journalism becomes journalism, or history becomes just one damn thing after another? When reality TV overruns human interest and game shows overshadow drama. So where do you go to, my lovely, when there's nowhere to run to, baby, nowhere to hide? And you want to burn down the disco because the music that they play says nothing about your life. And there's no longer something in the air because revolution is now just a fucking vodka bar. And Teen Spirit smells like Calvin Klein because Winston Smith's jingles have buried the bells of St. Clement's. And when the music's over, there's no one left to turn out the lights. The only solution is to sabotage the sound bites, to go from house to house, street to street, telling tales through long hours of darkness until we do break on through to the other side. So come on, an ego, let's move it and a groove it. Shake it, baby, please don't lose it. And if music no longer moves your mortal soul, then poetry is the new rock and roll. Let's check the time. I do want to overdo things. Oh, we're still doing all right, aren't we? Right. That doesn't happen every day. Yeah, let's have a look and see what we can do. There's one I'm looking for in particular. And will it come out? We'll do a couple of dreamy ones. This one I wrote a long time ago when it was the early hours of the morning and I was just walking through the streets of Cardiff because I couldn't sleep. Taking in the night air, waiting for the nightmare, or will it be a dream? Walking past the old factory which spews out its pollution along the riverbank where dossers and tramps sleep. But there's no natural route from brewery to drunk. Their own ruined lives, embers of a dying flame which once lit their bodies with life. And the river carries the past to the present. And the city holds a million untold stories locked behind closed doors, which sometimes break out into the streets, liberated, all seen. Journalists rewrite them, tabloid diamond sleazers into victims or animals which deserve no pity. The type behind the typeface forgotten, their lives carry on, just like the river to the sea. Negotiating the Taft's rocks and whirlpools, cars drive through the night time's ghost roads. Hours ago, the town would breathe out people. Now darkness draws its breath and tucks them in. A time to walk and clear the mind of all the countless thoughts gathered in the day. We live inside this prison. Invisible bars prevent us breaking free. Only late night thoughts pass easily between them. Tear away the chains which bind my tongue and wrap the blindfold and let me walk the pavements of the truth. The distraught are not the vanquished or masters of their destiny. We cannot clean the city streets by scraping them till they shine with our skin. The selfish cut to the bone for the banquet of the unknown glutton. Surely there is a better way of living. I know this is true. The river told me so, as it carried the past to the present, like the river to the sea, and I waited for the nightmare, and this time it will be a dream. Going to go back into looking at the weather we've got now, we are obviously going through some sort of climate change issues. And this is one that was written a few years ago when Louisiana got flooded. But at the same time Louisiana got flooded, the Southeast Asian coast got overwhelmed as well. And it was just like the first time anything had happened on both sides of the world at virtually the same time, which should have been a wake-up call for our leaders, but our leaders are too busy sleeping and making profit for their own benefit. This one's called Flood. River of tears, salty wet from giving birth, womb of winds, storm of floods, Texas, Louisiana, death floats in streets, buffoon flies in for TV lens photo opportunity. Politicians only talk in numbers, $7.5 million. Auction begins, Southeast Asia, levee breaks, displacement figure outbids the cash of American leaders, numbers crunch like bullets fired from a machine gun. Elsewhere in the land of the free, corn crops rot as vast underground lakes, aquifers are bled dry, just caverns now. Without water, we cannot survive. With flood water, we cannot survive. Forget the oil wars. The next wars will be for water. I think I shall end on a positive after that. There is, let's have a look. This one has become one of my favorite poems, accidentally. I just wrote it. I'll tell you why it's become one of my favorites. Because, again, it's another poem about dreams. And I just think people like Martin Luther King who had a dream, but also it's about my bloody useless writing process. My writing process goes like this. If I'm trying to write something, I'll wander around, I'll cogitate, I'll find anything to do, and I'll give up, and I'll just about be ready to go to bed about 5 o'clock in the morning, and an idea will pop into my head. And if you write, you know, if you go and sleep on a poem, it's not there in the morning. It's gone. It's an ex-poem. It's a defunct poem. It's just like the parrots. So it covers both things really, because I wrote this one about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't when it popped into my bloody head, and I wanted to go to sleep. So it's called Sleep. I should go to bed before it gets light, but there are things which bother me at night. One of them is hunger. We are short of food, nothing in the cupboard to feed a growing brood. Another is affection, like love's labours lost. Every spurned tenderness, rejection has a cost. Then there is my skin, how it bloody thickens with each blow and insult. Deep inside, it sickens. There's a different hunger. We need to rearrange the world that we subsist in. I'm hungry for the change. Another affection wells inside of me against bigotry and hatred for humanity. Sickness is systemic, or so it seems to me. So I'll offer way to bed. Our dreams can set us free. And if you'd like to be able to read those yourself, you can pop over and visit me and buy a book.
Thank you, Des. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't let that slip from your mind. Don't sleep on a dream. Don't sleep on a poem, and let just remind that one. Just take that line away with you. Our dreams will set us free. Thank you, Des. Let's keep those dreams alive. Okay, we have only one act left, I'm afraid, on the Spoken Word program today, in the final day of the festival. And Noel James will be with us very soon.